versus Ducks. That's massive. Both of the teams are level on points, both second and third in the group stage. So the winner of that is going to be almost in an advantageous position to advance.
Absolutely. And at this point, I think all the teams are hoping for certain results that are happening in the other game. I don't know if you notify or tell someone, because I don't know if I want that information while I'm playing, because the games have been so tight. I don't know that I want to know there's a goal going this way, or that I need this, or I have to push forward. As we have Pele here, stop, pop, cancellation, recycle, Mbappe, green time finish, blocked by Cafu, and a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, Falcons are very content in taking those green time finesse shots on the edge of the box. Of course, we've seen them more frequent in other years. This year, people tend to look towards the angles for the Trivela on the other side of the pitch with a right-footed player. But the finesse shots, if you green time them, they still go in. Of course, wasn't meant to be for them in that situation.
And if you're tuning in here, we've had a switch of the kits. We have Falcons now in the white kits, and we have Riders in those black kits. And we've just seen Falcons typically going the other direction.
Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate as we get into this, a little bit of a recycle here. And that opening goal in this matchup in particular will be so important, because MSDOSSARY and GOATMO really haven't been breaking into games. They've always had to chase back. And I'll say it right now, you do not want to have to forward some sort of comeback against TUGA and Indoni.
Yeah, exactly. They're a team that are very, very disciplined in 2v2. We saw last year when they ended up becoming victorious in the Club World Cup, the way how they barely conceded any goals, barely conceded any chances, let alone goals. So if you go 1-0 down against them, it's a huge battle to come back.
And you've obviously competed against them as you see some of this build-up. Would you say they're the most organized team of any of the 2v2 partnerships, and that's dealt with some of their collaborative success?
Yeah, there's an argument to say that they are the #1 most organized team. There's a testament to that because of their recent success, albeit in a different FIFA. But this year they've started off well. They deserve to be top of the group as well. They're very confident in the way that they can hold leads. I think that's something you have to commend, because it's not easy to hold a lead. We've seen a lot of leads. We've given away a lead as Man City before in a previous week. So it's not easy to maintain the lead. So for them, they're confident in it.
I'm sure you want to forget that lead that you gave away, or leads that you
yeah.
gave away. It wasn't that long ago, a few weeks ago. You'll be back on the big stage in the pitch coming soon.
You see, I'm minding what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing anyone too much. I'm just treading. But yeah, we still got an uphill task to do as well. But again, a lot of these groups are in a similar situation going into the game week 2 for groups A, B, C, and D, where there's not a lot of points to split these teams. And even now, I felt as if we'd have a situation where maybe the top 2 teams would have pulled away by now, or maybe one team in Riders. But again, it's still really, really tight.
And I hear a celebration. We might have a goal to talk about here. I saw a little bit of a chest bump or a nod to success when we're looking at something that's happening in the Fnatic versus Ducks matchup. I heard something behind us. We were turned behind us. There was some sort of celebration.
There has been a goal.
Oh, here we go. A little bit of a rebound, bounces back. That puts Fnatic up 1-0, and that's where you saw a little bit of an exchange. That's what we heard.
Yeah.
I thought I heard something.
Slice of fortune for the ball to fall back. But again, you got to take it as it comes. They are now, as it stands, they are #1 in the group. They are
wild.
They came
think about where they started.
#1, 12 points, level with Riders as it stands. Of course, Riders are level with Falcons, but if Falcons win this game, they'll be on 9, Riders 11, and it could go to the last game.
Could you imagine if we see a flip-flop this late in the competition? We talked about only one could go through between MSDOSSARY and Falcons, and then Fnatic and Tex.
Yeah,
it is mathematically possible, I think.
Yeah, it is possible, but as it stands right now, if the scorelines were to remain exactly as they are now, we will have the 2 teams advancing in Fnatic and Riders with still 1 round left to play.
You see some of this lovely dribbling, looking for the inside pass, not quite able to penetrate. And this is a dangerous area, big takeaway. Can you make the most of it? Extra pass again. No skill on display. Big Virgil steps into space. Terrifying center back to go up against this year.
Yeah, terrifying. I believe he is the best center back this year to use in Ultimate Team. The best item, in my opinion. I can't wait for him to get future potential cards in the game, just so we can get a slight upgrade. Of course, he's still fast with the accelerate types, but again, could be faster.
Mbappe across. You saw that fancy flick. And we see so much accuracy when you're dealing with some of the Trivela crosses or even the Rabona crosses that you saw on display there.
That was almost a goal from almost nothing, you'd say. A great bit of skill moves to choose the Rabona cross there all day. Maybe it was aimed for a Trivela. Was lucky for it to come off as a Rabona, but very close.
And he's not showboating there. It's a more effective way of converting some of those crosses.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Ryan, but it also kind of feels A little nostalgic to have Virgil van Dijk leading the back line,
yeah,
even on the virtual pitch. I've been accustomed to that.
Yeah, it's been a few years since Van Dijk has been the staple item in centre-back. See build up here from Falcons.
Zambrata goes for a cross deflection. Might be a corner kick, not quite. Getting a little bit sloppy in the box, but Donnarumma with sure hands. And I was just going to say, if he were able to draw a corner, I don't know about you and where you fall some of the percentages, but I'm saying 1 out of 3 and it's hitting the back of the net in some way.
Yeah, corners are very effective this year. There was a recent patch, but it's still effective to, you can go direct, you can whip it in at the near post. We saw a couple of weeks ago with Excel, Tom and Gorilla, they were great with the corners. They were almost scoring every corner they got, so it's a useful way to see a build up.
That is gorgeous work from Pele. And again, I talked about it earlier, but you have these primary and secondary skill moves. And I'm sure that you're elaborate on this a little bit, Ryan, but I feel like you throw out a lot of times the step overs or the body feints or even the ball roll, knowing that you have a secondary skill to open up a little more space or to really challenge that defender or that midfielder that's chasing back. Yeah,
exactly. The step overs this year coming to fruition again. They were great in FIFA 21, but again, this year, just using it as a speed boost to get past defenders. And as you say, use it as a way to go into another skill move.
Rudhulit probing, a lot of space out wide. Zambrata, we saw the last cross didn't quite work out. Again, we're gonna have that on repeat. Secondary bouts, Mbappe, maybe a step over, something to pull back, attack the space, can't find it. We're gonna have another resurface or a recycle here. Comes to a waste, all things considered. You felt like there was something being created, maybe a little bit of momentum going into the halftime whistle.
Yeah, you can see riders now, we speak about their discipline and how structured they are. Just playing for the last attack, they don't need to go forward. A couple minutes left before the whistle for halftime, so they're happy to go in level, or maybe if they do lose possession, that there's no time to be countered. But, oh, I've jinxed it. I've jinxed it. This could be a last attack for Falcons now.
And you got to go for it here.
Yeah, they have
Push
to go
some bodies, make this interesting.
No added time, I don't believe, as well.
Oh.
Yeah, whistle will blow.
I don't love that.
Halftime. Yeah,
that was a very passive approach.
Yeah.
I know it might seem like something small, but the small details is what separates these types of teams, especially at this level with such small margins.
And I think for Falcons, they need to win this game. Well, I don't think they have to win this game. For Riders, they're okay with a draw.
This is win or go home for MSDOSSARY and Gomo.
Yeah, exactly. They have to win in order to advance or give themselves a good chance to advance.
And I'm looking at the scorelines, the Fnatic game versus Ducks. They're still at 1-0. There's some sort of corner kick happening now, just past halftime. And you see the coaching staff. Enzo's really kicking in here with MSDOSSARY and Gomo. And I know from a tactical standpoint, substitution-wise, they are going to increase the pressure. That's what they're deliberating right now.
Yeah.
I've got a back-end view. We got the front-end view. I'm telling you, you will not see another half that is that defensive or that passive where they're almost taking turns with the attack and the defense. It's going to get disruptive. It's going to have havoc.
It really is. And, of course, having someone the stature of Enzo as a coach in the scene, he's coached the best players in the world. A lot of accolades to his name, so there's no better person to have over your shoulder giving you knowledge. And, of course, they'll be aware of the situation they're in. He will be telling them the scorelines in the other game. They know what they have to do. They have to win this game. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's also about timing or push. They can't come out now and just be too overly aggressive. But maybe you do shift into a little bit of team press. You turn it on and off. I don't think you're going to go into that constant pressure. Maybe even have a pressure after possession loss or some sort of tactical adjustment. Maybe go a little bit wider. Well, what are you doing at this point? You're in that same situation. You need to reinvent. You need more opportunities to be created. Because even if you're going offensive, doesn't mean you're going to break down the likes of TUGA810.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go too offensive now. I'm not too sure if I change anything exactly, but I'd have more tactical variations available. If it reaches the 60th minute, press after possession loss, maybe 70th or 75th, constant press. Be aware of the subs that you want to make pre-planned before that situation arises as well.
And I only bring that up because that might have been the longest halftime deliberation we've seen in this competition. The 5th week, I don't know if there's been anything that went on that far between back and forth. Should we shift this? I'm not so sure. I want to adjust that. It definitely was a real hold-up play.
Yeah. It's a great bit of pressing there as well from Andoni, I believe, to retain or retrieve possession.
I actually think that Riders saw something they didn't like. See a pause being cued. I think they're going to do a little bit of an adjustment on their own side here, or their own end. It's too early to really start to set up shop. You don't want to do that, especially not with how overpowered or how strong some of the pressure system is. But at the same time, if you can make those outlets easier, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Of course, have to pay attention to the other games as well. An update, Fnatic are still leading 1-0, so they are still #1 in this group. They've turned it around completely this week.
In fact, I'm going to fire off if we can get an update on the production end of where it currently stands, because we have a draw in this game, which would eliminate Falcons. They can't have that. And then with a win from Fnatic versus Ducks, what does that put them in terms of their final placement? I know they'd be in the top 2.
Yeah. It's crazy. For Ducks as well, this is a very important game for them. If they lose, I believe that's it. I think that is...
Well, it's a problem because they also came into today, remember, in 2nd place.
Yeah, oh, sorry, if they don't win, sorry, I think that's it. I don't know if a draw is enough because Fnatic still have a game to play. This is Ducks' last game, and it's against
so we have
Fnatic.
2 must-win scenarios.
Yeah.
That's why I told you Game 4 is where it gets critical. A lot of space to work with here from Pele. Jarzinho.
Oh, just an incredible speed boost.
Can you find the extra pass? Oh, look at the shimmy and the shake.
Oh.
I love what he's going for. Maybe in the air, maybe a little back post lob. And in the other match, we have an update. Now, is it for Ducks? Is it for Fnatic? You've got Mbappe. What a pass. What a finish. Goalkeeper does not react.
Oh, look at Tech, stone cold. Doesn't even
celebration.
blink.
And that almost solidifies. I'm not sure if it's mathematically possible or not at the moment for Fnatic to
if they
not move forward because they also have the tiebreaker at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, they are still with a game to play.
Someone in the back help us with the permutations.
They're still having a game to play, even if they don't win this game. But as it stands, they'll be through. You can see it in the top right there.
Wow, you're right. Ducks, no games left. They have to get a win here.
Yeah.
And now they're in the most inopportune situation as you see another pause queued. And we're going to review. And this is where you're looking at some of the best players. Who can outthink who? I've been part of this for the TUGA matchups, the Andoni matchups, even when they're playing as individuals. The same with MSDOSSARY, even GOATMO, where they go back and forth. Pause, shift the formation. Pause, try to throw off the rhythm of your opponent. Pause, we're going to change
the momentum of it.
You name it. It's a real thing. There's almost a mental side as well.
It is.
You've been in that chair many times. I've also chaired that chair. And sometimes I'm going through 3, 4 pauses, and I'm just sitting here saying, I just want to play.
Yeah, yeah. 12 points, though, for Fnatic and Riders. Ducks with 9, Falcons 7, Atlanta at the bottom with 6 points.
Wow.
Complete turnaround for Fnatic. They deserved to be in this position, but again, it is...
Let's do some updating. Let's do some updating here, because you're right. If Ducks loses, they're out.
Yep.
If Falcons could get a win here, they're absolutely in, though.
They're in this, yeah, if they can get a win.
A lot of space. Can you take it off them? Not quite. That was the first major mistake I think we've seen in this matchup. Oh, second one. Mbappe.
Oh, great bit of skill, and it was cleared out just there for Riders. Now we're approaching the time where maybe you could look to change something, maybe go press after possession loss. You see the amount of bodies that are pushing forward to try and close the angles.
You can already feel the adjustment a little bit, where some of those double teams, they've made their adjustments, their changes. You're going to see a lot more pressure play here from MSDOSSARY and GOATMO. You can just see that the way that they're looking to press. And then if you're on the other end, I'm sure TUGA and Andoni have been informed. If it's open, let's go for it. Otherwise, swinging it side to side. Yeah. They're going to take their time. There's not a more experienced duo, again, individually or as a collective, that's better at game management.
Even in 1v1s, we've seen them keep possession very, very well. They transition it well as a duo into the 2v2 format. They have their coach behind them as well, so they are aware of, oh my goodness, what a ball that could have been. They're aware of the situation that they are in, so I think they'll be happy to honestly keep the ball, but they're giving it away.
Oh, what a read! I thought he was going to pull it back, kind of made that look, had that quick hesitation, and then went into the step over. It's just trying to outthink your opponent, but you can see the probing here. MSDOSSARY and GOATMO are getting closer and closer to that real big chance. Yeah,
just dwindling on possession. Or dwelling on the ball for too long there, Wizard, and they've got the ball back though. Can they push forward the last 20 minutes? They need a goal to give them a chance to progress into the knockouts.
I'd like to see him be a little more direct. It's got to be said.
Great tackle there to stop the potential L1-0 over the top. There could be a counter-attack on, but it's intercepted.
Pele into space, takes it off the defender. A lot of space to work with. Trivela taken way too early, and Donnarumma looked like he was manually moved back
as well. Yeah, it was great movement there. You have to be aware of those angles because a lot of people potentially ball roll into a Trivela. They shoot Trivela straight away if you have, well, you don't even need to have the outside of the shot trait for those angles, but it's always efficient to move the goalkeeper. Anytime there's an angle that could open up for it, you have to move the keeper at this level.
You see another pause queued. We're going to be seeing last substitutions to go with the constant press has to be incoming.
Yeah. As we say, I think Riders are content with this. They know that they are still in second position, joint first with Fnatic, but they'll take their chances and go into the last game knowing that they could win that to push into the first spot. But the main aim for them is just to solidify a spot into the knockout stages. And if it stays like this, they definitely will have that secure. There's a run there from Mbappe.
Step inside, little skill move, needs the extra pass, cancellation. And that's what we're talking about with those skills. Trying to bait a mistake, it didn't quite happen. They didn't read it properly. They really need that pause.
Yeah, they do. Great defending, though, you have to say. Fantastic defending from Riders.
Is that the finish? Early slide, extra pass, Pele with the turn. Hey, and you hear the eruption, top corner, near post. A lot of hesitation. I was just going to say, as you commit more bodies to the attack, commit more bodies to the pressure play, it opens up lanes and they capitalize. And Riders haven't had as many chances, but they haven't needed to be. They were clinical at the right time. They stuck to the game plan. Yeah,
that is a huge goal for Riders. TUGA810. That should put them in, or will put them in first place in the group stage. I thought the chance was gone there. There was a bit of unfortunate dribbling there with R9, but of course there's been a goal in the other game, Mike.
And we have an update. Do we have a comeback on the cards? Is that possible? Ooh. It's a beautiful
time.
Beautiful cross. And it is 2-1. It's just a matter of how much time they have left. But again, a draw is not enough. Nope, they really need 2 more goals. And we're starting to get into the late stages here. This is also an elimination type of finish as well when you're dealing with Riders sending home Falcons. And as an update, that goal that we just saw is not going to matter. The Fnatic game is finished.
That is it, right? That's it.
Ducks has to be going home at this point. I'm looking at the mathematical equation again. I know that I didn't do that well in school, but you see 14 on Riders as it stands. Either way, Falcons need to win here. There's not enough time.
Yeah,
I don't think you can shift anything.
Yeah.
And then Fnatic, again, they put themselves into a position. What a day they've had. They came into this talking about being at the bottom.
Yeah, they've turned it around. You have to give huge congratulations to Fnatic. Tex and Diogo have done enough to secure themselves a spot into the knockout stages of the EA Sports Cup. 12 points now, sat in second place. Riders with 14, Ducks with 9. No games left to play. Atlanta and Falcons join on 6 with, of course, a game left, but it still won't mean anything.
Maybe we can see something here. Make the last 4 or 5 minutes interesting.
Ooh, that could have been it. That was it. That was the chance there to try and get a goal. And as we said earlier, Riders are genuinely the worst team to play against when they are winning 1-0. They genuinely can keep the ball. I don't know how they do it, but they just rarely ever give up possession. If they do give it up, it's areas like this where it's in the opposition's half. They're not really under threat from a direct pass into goal.
A lot of space to work with. Outside, Vinicius looking for the extra pass. Can you find the extra pass? Not quite. Lucio with the clearance. Surely Janola's winning that.
Yeah.
That's why you bring on Holland as well, late game. He just wins so many strange 50-50s or long balls.
Yeah, exactly. His physicality, his pace, his power. And that is the win for Riders. TUGA810 advance into the knockout stages. We say a goodbye to Team Falcons, Goat Mo, and of course the king of the jungle, MSDOSSARY.